Welcome back. Starting with the top story, US President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin are prepared to discuss Russian-Ukraine war. Donald Trump took to a social media platform Truth Social, writing that he looks forward to the call with Vladimir Putin, and the main topic of discussion is the ongoing war in Ukraine, with Donald Trump aiming to explore the possibility of bringing the conflict to an end. Trump mentioned that the talks had made significant progress over the weekend, which may lead to a ceasefire agreement, is what we are learning. Aditya, my colleague, is joining us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Aditya, if this is going to happen, it's good news, but no peace is possible without Mr. Zelensky being a part of these talks.
Well, we need to see, Donald Trump is set to talk with the Russian President Vladimir Putin. And, he has been saying during his election speeches also, we saw that he said that Donald Trump, as soon as I become the President of the United States of America, he will end this Russia-Ukraine war that has been going on. And recently, since this crucial mineral deal between the United States and Ukraine has been signed, the American side is putting some pressure on the Russian side. Recently what we saw that the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that we are not thinking of imposing sanctions on Russia at the moment, but we have other costs that we can impose on Russia if it doesn't come on the negotiating table and stop this war that has been going for the last 3 to 4 years. And also let us just put this into perspective. In today's call, both the leaders will discuss as to how to bring in the 30 days ceasefire deal in place, so that more people lives can be saved. And due to this war, the energy and the gas infrastructure of Ukraine has been destroyed and dismantled. And because Trump specifically will also lay emphasis on how this energy and gas infrastructure in Ukraine, that has been destroyed, can be, revived. And, he will also talk about certain conditions. I know. And if we see the Russian perspective, Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, has been very clear that, he at no cost will Russia tolerate that if Ukraine will join the NATO alliance. So these are all the things, these are into this perspective. It needs to be seen from after the talks, how this, whether this war, Russia-Ukraine war will stop or not, this needs to be seen. Yes, Vinny.
All right, Christina Malik, Russian journalist, is also joining us on the broadcast to talk more about this. Christina, I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Well, Christina, what kind of conversation would this be if Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin decide on a ceasefire and Mr. Zelensky is not on the same page? What does this mean about the seriousness of this conversation?
So this obviously means that President Vladimir Putin and President Trump will decide on their own the fate of the upcoming conflict and negotiations. Let me say that President Putin last Thursday made several clear statements about Russian position on the upcoming negotiations. So a ceasefire is the main issue for us, but it's necessary to take into account that the real situation on the ground, on the battlefield, which has changed significantly over just like several months last. A clear vector that can be seen through the lines of President Putin's ideas that Russia is not against peace, but only on our own terms, without strengthening Kiev and new security threats for Russia from NATO countries. And the United States is aware of this. Overall, Russian response to President Trump's proposal for a 30-day ceasefire is extremely clear, because the United States and the peacekeeping plans are better than nothing, which was before the President Trump's administration. But as President Putin said, there are some nuances. And under these nuances, first of all, we should consider Zelensky's statement that the mobilization won't be cancelled, and the pumping of Ukrainian army with weapons will continue. So it's not on Russia's national interests, we can say. But anyway, it becomes clear that our Russian positions on the ceasefire and the negotiations should be like this. We are for peace. We are for ending the conflict, but first of all, we should solve existential issues and existential problems for Russia. It's our favor.
All right, what do you think Vladimir Putin has in mind at this point in time? He's obviously himself looking for some sort of a negotiation which brings peace, because Russia too has suffered as a result of this war.
I cannot read Mr. Vladimir Putin's thoughts, obviously, but all the essential points for these negotiations I've already mentioned. So for sure he wants peace, for sure he wants negotiations, but for sure we should keep in mind and make all the points that Russian president had already mentioned.